Hello everyone, this is your host PK. We're back with the word of Premier Koza, the word of PK. After Easter, after the whole Easter break, we're back, continuing where we left off. Some were asking, where are we? But here we are. Today's message is about sexual immorality, sexual intercourse, depending on how you want to put it. Understand? So I want us to talk about that, how it affects the children of God, how it affects the chosen, the called, and how it affects every individual out there, be it you have already identified your calling, you know your calling and whatnot. This topic covers everyone, and it's something that it affects everyone. Understand? Some will argue, how are you a Christian and then you're being affected by sexual immorality if you're not married? But the truth of the matter, Paul has outlined that long time ago that you know what, there is a constant battle between the flesh and the spirit. And another one is that also your mind is a battlefield, because that's where when these voices enter and whatnot, that's where the decision gets to be made and stuff like that. So the mind is also a battlefield, but there is a number one enemy to the kingdom and to Christian, which is sexual immorality or sexual intercourse or fornication, whatever way you want to put it. So this one has caused many delays amongst men and women of God, because the devil is always on one assignment amongst others, to steal, kill and destroy. So as much as you wake up today and you say you're going to work and stuff like that, and you prepare yourself that you're going to work and you're going to follow policies and regulation and guidelines of that environment that you work in, same with the devil. Is constantly on duty, and his duty is to see to it that the plan of God doesn't get executed as God has planned it to be. Understand? So he has all these things that he set out there, and for him to get hold of God's children and to ensure that you don't get to see or to live within the purpose or the will of God. So one thing that he used is sexual intercourse, fornication. Understand? So that's why you hear many preachers, as much as you can have arguments that hey, there is no clear scriptures that says sex before marriage is a sin and whatnot, but there is fornication. It's still the same thing. It's an argument for another day, but sexual immorality, it's deep than that. You know, it goes as far as soul ties and stuff like that. But this is one thing that the enemy used to trade what God has put in you, and he replaced it with something else, or he dilute what God has given you with something else. And it's also the reason behind so much delays in people's lives. Stagnation. There are people of the world who are not even Christians, who are not even born again, who understand this principle. They will tell you, you know what, I abstain from sexual intercourse when I want to get that business deal, when I want to get things done in my life, when I want to see myself move to one dimension to other, I abstain, because it's pleasure, and that pleasure, it doesn't just come with good things. That's why when people now, if now you say you want to get married in a Christian environment or policies, they'll say they have to bless your marriage. Why are they blessing it? So now you according to the agreement between your family and God, now you are recognized as people who can now go do those things, sexual intercourse, in a space where it's blessed. So this one, it also opens the door for the devil and his agents to come and operate. Suddenly you know I'm called Minamusi. Even when I've slept with so many people and stuff like that, God still speaks to me. God still uses me. I still pray for people. They get healed. They get testimonies and stuff like that. So meaning there's no such thing. And you don't know. One thing about the enemy, it doesn't just come and eat you up at the same time. He has strategies. He sends his agents, eat you slowly. It doesn't come because obviously when he comes with all gun blazing, he's gonna ruin the plan. So he takes his time. So you can still move and still do God's work, but you don't know that you are fading away little by little. Or as far as Matthew 7 verse 12 says that some will say on that day that Lord, we cast out demons in your name, we're preaching in your name, we're healing in your name, and the Lord will say, I do not know you. Why would he say that to his kids or children? It's because you have drifted away from him a long time, even before you die. But because he cares and he loves his kids, he still was working through you. So you couldn't see that you are already far away from God, because God was still touching his kids through you. Not because right now you are in good standing with him, but because of the people who still look at you as the pastor, still look at you as the leader, still look at you as the prophet. Because behind closed doors, they don't see. It's you and God. Understand? So we should be very, 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 very careful, and we should deal decisively with sexual immorality. Most especially if you are in a position of influence, you're preaching and you are sharing the gospel or whatever that you are doing. Because the Bible says that the church is like a body. You see, we have eyes, nose, teeth, all these hands. They have different functions, but at the end of the day, it's the same body. So whatever that you're doing, you should be always aware of this and deal with sexual immorality decisively, because that's one area that will utilize to destroy men and women of God. There's so many people who are called anointed. Some will never get to know about them. They had great destinies. They were going to transform and heal the world. But because of sexual immorality, you will never hear of them. They got destroyed. You understand? So this is one area that will cause you to be delayed. Not only being delayed on the things of God or doing his work, but also on your personal life, your business, your career. You'll get there. Once you identify that you are chosen or you're called, and you know, and you start doing God's work like that, believe you me, this is number one thing that you have to deal. Last, fornication. So you have to deal with it decisively. Because if you are still like what's the word? If you are still giving in to it, and if it's still dominant in your life, and if it's still the one that rules, you are fighting a losing battle. Because it's not just pleasure. The devil is trading, and you don't even know what he's putting inside you. Before you know, you are this other man and woman of God that you didn't know. You just want to sleep around. all the time. And it's so crazy that just one moment, those minutes of fornicating can take away years, or take away a lot of blessing, breakthrough that you have been hoping for years. Those minutes. And you'll be wondering that, and how is it that things don't change? How is it that year in and year out, even after all those prayers and fasting and stuff like that, you are still in the same position? So we have to see to it that we deal with sexual immorality in all areas. Be it you just thinking about it, but be careful as a child of God. That's a weapon that the enemy used to steal and destroy the ministry and destroy what God has put in you and destroy the anointing in your life. He uses that. Understand? So some are just dead men walking. They are not aware because they have getting used to sin. They have getting used to sleeping with a woman and go and preach the next day. They have gotten used to waking up next to a girl or a man they're not married to and go sing the next day. They're so gotten used to sleeping around and still go lead intercession the next day. And they still don't see anything about that. Because when they get there, the Lord moves. They even say, you see today, the power of the Lord was moving. Yes, the power of the Lord was moving. God was moving because He wants to move and touch His children. So the moment you feel like this is not sin, or you start having second thoughts on the direction of fornication, and you start normalizing it, start feeling like it's nothing. Hey, that should be the wake up call. That should be a point where you say, no, something is not right here. That is the point. It should be your turning point to say no. Actually, don't even allow it to get to that point. If you know you have a problem, if you know you are one of those people that Paul was talking about, that the flesh, the spirit is willing, but the flesh, then seek help from God. Because I know some of you want it. It's not even some of you. It's a sensitive topic that many wouldn't trust the leaders with, because they don't want them to be preaching about them the next time or making examples of them. So you have to outline that, and that is the greatest enemy. And you should know with sexual intercourse, they don't just start by you now wanting to do it physically and stuff like that. Start in your mind. So when I said earlier that your mind is a battlefield, this should be one area where you're able to silence those voices of saying, if I can get my way with that brother, I can get my way with that sister, and she looks like she's on the same page that one. She looks like that kind of a type. He looks like that kind of it. Because you know when the devil said his puppets, the assignment of the spirit behind it is one. So that's why you'll find it easier for you to identify and you go sleep with someone else, because the spirit that is roaming inside of you at that time are the same, that you have allowed it to operate is the same. So they're in agreement. You understand? And sometimes the voice that is speaking to you, that that sister, if I talk to him, stuff like that, that one will fornicate. It is because now it has entered, and it's also entered here. So you guys are in a position of being a puppet, and it should bring a question with how. You understand? It's not a matter of, it's not always which you're not in the presence of the Lord that this spirit occupy. Remember Peter, I always say it, when the devils tried to speak through him, Jesus was able to detect it. This is not a message from my Father. But the point here is Peter was with Jesus. So sometimes you can be in good standing, but they will come. So you need to know, and you need to know how to silence those. Because once they go from there, you are gone. I believe that Joseph knew it. I don't even want to try to talk to this wife of a king. Let me just run, because if I try to reason, I might find myself committing fornication. So we should be aware. There is a lot of ways that the devil uses in order to get into our mind and to have his way in getting us committing fornication. And it's not always him. Sometimes we leave that door open. You understand? So you know you have no intention in marrying someone and getting to a courtship of anyone, and you can see some, because the Spirit of God always talk. You can see what I almost said another way. We use that way as boys, and I didn't ask them where do they get. Sometimes you can say what this lady or this girl or this guy, his intention they're not pure. Understand? You can see the approach sometimes, or maybe because some of us spiritually are in a different level, but you can tell it. Lana, I don't even have to find myself in a private space with this one, because hell will break loose. Understand? And you can't keep such people around. Understand? I remember I had contact, on my phone, and the conversations, when they start happening, you could see with this ones, they're now moving in a sexual direction, and I don't know this person for long. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, block this person, because I know the war that I'm facing and whatnot. I didn't even want to think twice. Understand? Block. Because once you miss that, God knows. Once you miss that, so there's so many opportunities that we get, that God tries to warn us that, what, my son, my daughter, you guys have not even talked about marriage. What are you going to do in this space? Why are you going to her apartment? Why are you going to his apartment? There is no movie, there is no cinemas up. No, I'm gonna Netflix and chill. In his house, the two of you. When your flesh already is attracted to each other. Child of God. And I think also we have to go back to the holy hearts, because I've heard I know the guys will be mad, but I have heard a lot of guys say, oh, you saw how she hugged me, oh, that hug. So I think we have to go back to holy hearts, or just abstain from that. Because there are people who are interpreting this wrongly. We should not leave any space or any opportunity for the devil to come and sneak in. Understand? Because fornication will delay you and will destroy you. Some of you can't see it because you're used to, maybe you're sorted, like you have your 9 to 5, whatever that you're doing, your money keeps coming, but if you check the amount of work and stuff that you're doing, the kind of person you are, you realize that you might be doing good, but you should be for. And what is the problem? I usually when talk to some other people, the Spirit of the Lord will tell you, this one has had a sexual intercourse with someone, and that's where things started happening. And this person is not because they know, or they go around destroying guys or girls. It's the spirit within them, that whenever they sleep or have sexual intercourse, your life will be a mess. Because apart from that, there is soul ties that some of these people have been tying. There's been sleeping with multiple people, and then now they come to you, find you doing good, or maybe you are about to step into a new dimension, and then boom, things start going south. So don't even allow this devil to have his way in your mind, because once he's done here, it's a done deal. If now you want to think about it, it's you, but this is an opportunity to sleep with so and so and so, you are gone. And you'll be a prayer item until Jesus comes back. And you will be the ones on social media to say, but my God. But you know that you were busy collecting spirit and collecting things that are gonna destroy your ministry, destroy your destiny, destroy your house. There are people who have lost marriages, who have lost jobs, who have lost their things because of being disobedient and because of fornication. You understand? So you should be aware, Kuti. The flesh and the spirit will forever be in a battle. But if you realize that your flesh seems like it's having more ground and gaining more, it is stronger than your spirit, it means you are feeding your flesh more than your spirit. And then in that way, you won't be in any way, you won't be in a position to fight and win against the attacks that the enemy launched against you, because your spirit, your flesh is fed, you are feeding it more than your spirit. You cannot be fighting sexual immorality and fornication and still watching things that they draw you more and more and more to that. You cannot be having a circle in WhatsApp groups where we're discussing girls or boys and whatnot like that in a sexual manner. You can't be saying you're fighting fornication and you still be there commenting, oh, Bonina was there, yo, she's hot and whatnot, and you have sexual thoughts. No. If you want to change and you want to uphold God's standards, you'll have to start feeding your spirit more than that. It's work. It needs you to work. Not all of these things that will come as a miracle. The devil is not playing. It's not games. This is real. You understand? So let's look at that, deal with it decisively. If you can see that this is beyond you and you need professional help, seek professional help. Seek counseling. Speak out to the people who you know that will help you. If you trust your leader, go to him and sign a consent form. You know I don't trust. I don't want you to be talking about me after this. So we sign, but I came to you because I trust you. So that we can see God's will and God's plan coming to fulfillment. Because as much as we are having this, it's one of the most dangerous weapons that the devil uses. Understand? So that's why you will see people who are born again, people who are called and whatnot today. It's you can have all the problems in them, but not when it comes to finding a woman or girl. So it's easy. It's either you deal with it or it will deal with you. So henceforth you'll hear preachers say sex before marriage is a sin. You'll hear them say abstain. You'll hear them say all these things because they know. apart from sexual diseases, in the spiritual, also you are attracting things that are destroying you. Some of those things you are not even going to be able to get deliverance from, unfortunately. Maybe your generation is going to be the one who's going to break the mess that you are creating now, just by pleasure. Because as soon as you are done and you're finished with that, your mind comes back to be like, God, what have I done? So, children of God, let's not be puppets of the devil. Let's go and fight all sin, including sexual